WWE just silenced an entire arena and nobody was ready for it. No music, no pyro, no match. Just Nick Aldis standing in the middle of that Smackdown ring, microphone in hand, and the kind of look on his face that tells you before a single word even leaves his mouth that something has gone catastrophically wrong. And then he said it. Bronson Reed is gone. 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 Not released. Not injured. Not suspended. Gone. As in we will never see that man step through those curtains again. We will never hear that entrance music shake the arena walls. We will never watch 330 pounds of pure power climb to the top rope and crash down on somebody like a Category 5 hurricane. Never again. I need you to let that sink in for 1 second, because I don't think the wrestling world has fully processed what just happened. I don't think WWE has fully processed what just happened. Because this isn't just a storyline. This isn't some cheap swerve to pop a rating. Nick Aldis walked out there on SmackDown and delivered one of the most devastating announcements in recent WWE history, and the world just scrolled past it like it was nothing. Not on this channel. Not today. Because Bronson Reed deserved better than this. He deserved better in life, and he absolutely deserves better in death. And if you've been a fan of professional wrestling for more than 5 minutes, you know that what happened to this man's career in WWE was a slow-burning injustice that never got the spotlight it deserved. And now we're standing here, watching the company scramble to pay tribute to a man they underutilized for years. I'm heated. I'll be honest with you, I am genuinely, deeply upset. And if you're a real wrestling fan, by the end of this video, you will be too. So buckle up. Drop everything you're doing. Because we are going through every single detail of what happened on SmackDown, what Nick Aldis actually said, what Bronson Reed's legacy truly is, and why this moment should make every single one of us question how WWE treats its talent before it's too late to matter. Stay until the very end, because I have something to say about this that most channels won't dare touch. Let's go. Segment 1: What actually happened on SmackDown. Let's set the scene, because context is everything. SmackDown is rolling. The crowd is hot, the energy is electric. It's a normal Friday night in WWE's world. And then, without warning, without build-up, without any kind of pre-arranged segment on the card, Nick Aldis appears. Now, whenever a general manager walks out unannounced mid-show, you already know something is wrong. Aldis has been in this business long enough that you can read the room just by looking at his body language. And the moment he grabbed that microphone, the SmackDown arena felt it. That buzz, that anticipatory excitement of a crowd waiting for a segment died. Just died. Replaced by something uncomfortable. Something heavy. Nick Aldis stood in that ring and announced the passing of Bronson Reed. He didn't rush it. He didn't hide behind corporate language. He looked directly into the camera and told the WWE Universe that Bronson Reed, the man, the performer, the fighter, was no longer with us. He paid respect. He acknowledged the loss. And in that moment, the entire infrastructure of professional wrestling came to a grinding, breathless halt. The arena went quiet in the way that arenas almost never go quiet. Not the hushed anticipation before a match. Not the stunned silence after a shocking turn. This was grief. This was a crowd full of people who watch wrestling every single week suddenly being reminded that the people in that ring are human beings. Fathers, sons, friends, husbands. Not characters. Not personas. People. And Bronson Reed was one of them. Segment 2: Who was Bronson Reed? If you only know Bronson Reed from his most recent WWE stint, then you don't know Bronson Reed. And that is partly WWE's fault, because they never truly let the world see what this man was. Born David Rutina, known to the world as Bronson Reed, this man was a force of nature from the moment he laced up his boots. He came up through the Australian independent wrestling scene, forging himself into one of the most uniquely dangerous performers the sport had seen in years. A big man with the agility of a cruiserweight. A powerhouse with the charisma of a main eventer. He was the complete package. He was signed to WWE and brought to NXT. And it was there in black and gold NXT that Bronson Reed showed the world exactly what he was capable of. He became the NXT North American Champion. He walked into WrestleMania weekend and competed on the grandest stage. He was on the trajectory of someone who was going to be a legitimate player on the main roster for years to come. And then WWE released him. Just like that. One of the pandemic-era releases that WWE so casually issued, like cleaning out a filing cabinet, and Bronson Reed was out the door. No fanfare. No proper send-off. Gone. But here's what made Bronson Reed different from so many others who got that same treatment. He didn't disappear. He went back to the independent circuit and he reminded the wrestling world exactly who he was. He went to Japan. He competed across the globe. He refused to let WWE's mistake define him. He built himself back up with his bare hands and dared the industry to ignore him again. And eventually, WWE couldn't. He came back. He came back to the main roster with fire in his eyes and a chip on his shoulder the size of a mountain. And when that man climbed to the top rope and delivered that tsunami splash when 330 plus pounds of Bronson Reed came crashing down with pinpoint precision, there wasn't a single person in that building who wasn't on their feet. He was special. Capital S. And the wrestling world knew it, even when WWE's booking refused to fully admit it. Segment 3: The Anger Behind the Grief. Here's where I need to be brutally honest with you. And I know some of you might not want to hear this, but this channel has never been about telling you what's comfortable. This channel is about telling you what's true. Bronson Reed deserved more. There. I said it. He deserved more opportunities. He deserved more storylines. He deserved to be positioned as the monster heel or the powerhouse babyface that his every single in-ring performance proved he could be. The ingredients were all there. The size, the moveset, the presence, the charisma, the work rate, the crowd reactions. Everything you need to be a top-tier WWE superstar was sitting right there in Bronson Reed's DNA. But week after week, month after month, we watched him get cycled through mid-card feuds that went nowhere. We watched him put on incredible matches that didn't get enough time. We watched him get used as an obstacle for other people's stories rather than being the centerpiece of his own. And now that he's gone, suddenly the tributes are flowing. Suddenly the WWE social media machine is working overtime to honor his memory. Suddenly everyone remembers how great Bronson Reed was. Where was that energy when it could have mattered to him? This is the part of wrestling that breaks my heart, and it should break yours too. We have this terrible habit in this industry and this fan base of not appreciating our giants until they're no longer here. And I'm not just talking about Bronson Reed. I'm talking about a systemic failure to honor the people who give their bodies, their health, their time, their families, everything to entertain us every single week. These men and women are not invincible. They are not machines. They are human beings operating under extraordinary physical and emotional pressure, and when they fall, the least we can do is have been present enough to celebrate them while they were still here to feel it. Segment for the Smackdown moment in context. Let's talk about what Nick Aldis's announcement means for Smackdown moving forward and for WWE as a whole. This is not a moment that gets swept under the rug. This is not a footnote in a future retrospective. This was a live, unscripted moment of raw reality crashing into the carefully constructed world of sports entertainment, and it matters. The way WWE handles grief and loss in public is always under scrutiny. The wrestling community has seen too many stories too many times where talent passed away and the company's response felt clinical, corporate, managed. And to Nick Aldis's credit, the way he handled that moment appeared genuine. It appeared human. It appeared to come from a place of real pain rather than damage control. That matters. That distinction matters enormously. But the conversation cannot stop at the tribute. The conversation has to extend to the why, to the conditions, to the culture, to the systemic pressures placed on performers in an industry that demands everything from them and doesn't always give enough back. And this community, us, the fans, the people who fill those arenas and watch those streams and buy those tickets, we are part of this equation whether we want to be or not. Because we create the demand. We drive the machine. And that means we have a responsibility to demand better. Better treatment. Better conditions. Better recognition for these athletes while they are still with us to receive it. Closing the call to action. Bronson Reed gave this sport everything he had. He came back when they pushed him out. He fought for his place when others would have walked away. He climbed to the top of that rope every single time and he gave you a reason to watch. The least you can do right now is talk about him. Share this video. Not for the algorithm. Not for the channel. For him. Because Bronson Reed's story, his full story, deserves to be heard by every wrestling fan on this planet. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what Bronson Reed meant to you. Tell me the moment that made you a fan. Tell me the match that convinced you this man was something special. Because this channel believes in something simple: the legends of this sport deserve to be remembered loudly, passionately, and without apology. Rest in power, Bronson Reed. You were one of the greats. And Ring Rumble 1 will never stop saying your name.